Hello and welcome to Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, a statewide law firm with its primary office, main office in Gainesville, Florida, and also covering the entire state of Florida, with an office in South Florida covering the entire Tri-County area, Miami-Dade County through Broward County, all the way up through Palm Beach County. And of course, we are in our 43rd year in Marion County, Florida, in Ocala. A lot of exciting things happening, Jeffrey Meldon, in Ocala.
Yeah, they're putting up our big sign tomorrow, and then we're starting the landscaping the next day on Thursday. And I just got word from my designer and partner in chief, my wife Patricia Meldon, who said that the office looks fabulous. So we're really excited that we're looking for an opening by March 15th.
It's really an amazing thing. As we said, you've had a presence in Marion County a long time, but the location is really something, right on the main drag, as they say, right across from the hospital, and huge electronic board. Can't miss it.
Yes. So anyhow, we'll keep our Marion County friends up to date on what's going on. And Chris, we have had a big week in Gator sports. I know you got to go to a baseball game or two, and things are really cracking with the Gators.
I just can't keep talking about how great an experience it is to go to that new Florida ballpark. I mean, I am now a big baseball fan. Not that I wasn't before, but we've got such a great product on the field. The team is just great. Forget about those two games with Miami. Trust me, this team is going to be in the College World Series, and they will do very, very well. But the experience of going to that ballpark, it just blows me away.
And today we have a game that starts this evening against Florida A&M, and another one on Saturday and Sunday. And I think we have some tickets available for our listeners.
We do. As we've been talking about week after week, both on the podcast and on our radio show, we have tickets because we are, of course, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Did I get it right that time?
You got it right
Trust
on.
me, we've been practicing this, so it's been a running gag, but I finally got it. But we do have tickets for every game that we give away, and we've made it simple. There's one way that you can qualify to register to get free tickets and gift certificates for food for the game, and that is to go to our website. Go to meldonlaw.com, right?
That's correct. And you go to the homepage at the top, you'll see a red bar, and it'll say, enter the contest here, and you can enter one contest or more, because we're also giving tickets away for volleyball. Right now, you can enter for the volleyball match that's going on Saturday. Mm-hmm. There's also a volleyball match going on this evening at 6 o'clock, but those tickets have already been given away to a winner. But tomorrow's match, there will be two tickets available, plus a $50 gift certificate to Miapa.
Miapa, that's right.
And as a matter of fact, for baseball, we're giving away Miapa gift certificates as well.
Absolutely. So couldn't be easier. Just go to the website, meldonlaw.com. Top of the page, front page, it'll tell you exactly what you need to do. But let's get to our...
Wait. Oh, wait. One more thing you forgot. So after you listen to this website, if you're listening to it live Friday at 1 o'clock, the Florida softball team, which is incredible, those women are doing a kick-ass job. They're playing
How blunt can you get?
They're playing FSU here in Gainesville. The next day, they're going up to Tallahassee for the second game of the series. So we got women's softball 3:30 in Gainesville, followed by both volleyball and baseball. So we got a
huge week. Huge week for Gator sports.
And so anyhow, it's simple. Go to meldonlaw.com, homepage, top of the page, red bar. It's there. We'll make it easy for you, and we're so excited. I've met a lot of our winners. I went to gymnastics last Friday night, and wow,
against Auburn.
Yeah,
and they did great.
Yeah, and Thomas, what's that? It's not Tiffany Thomas, but some T. Thomas. But anyhow, she got 2 10s and was incredible. Okay, and then Sunday I got to go to the baseball game. and watch a walk-off single in the bottom of the ninth, and the Gators won the game.
They won all 3 games of that series.
Yeah,
I can't remember the score. 10-9.
The Sunday game was 10-9. But anyhow, we're having a blast being the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. So today we have a terrific guest, Chris. Why don't you do an introduction?
Well, I think her experience and qualifications speak for themselves. Heather Parker, we're so happy to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
She is the executive director of Tyler's Hope, which is an organization that's working toward finding a cure for dystonia.
Correct.
So why don't you just take over, tell our viewers and our listeners, we have quite a few people on listening platforms as well, a bit about dystonia, the disease and what it's all about, and then talk about Tyler's Hope.
Sure. So dystonia is a neurological movement disorder, and it is characterized by involuntary muscle contractions that can become very painful. The person a lot of times gets very twisted, and it can affect all different parts of your body. So it can affect multiple parts, or it can affect one. So people can have dystonia where it just affects their eyes, or they can have dystonia which just affects an arm or a leg. So there's a lot of different types, but Tyler's Hope was specifically developed to advance the research and find effective treatments and promote DYT1 dystonia, which is a specific kind of dystonia.
And isn't it true that the organization got started because one of our community members in the Alachua County area had a child who was afflicted with dystonia?
So that's correct. So in 2005, Rick and Michelle Staub, their oldest son, was diagnosed with DYT1 dystonia. And that they kind of took the ball and just ran with it. So where parents, a lot of times of children with chronic diseases and illnesses, it's survival when you're out there. But for them, they took it and they just decided that they were going to fight this thing till the end. So they made it their mission to establish this foundation and develop a cure and bring awareness to the disorder.
And let me take a guess. Their son's name was Tyler?
Yes.
So their oldest son is named Tyler, and then so he was diagnosed in 2005, and then actually a couple of years later, their middle child, Samantha, was diagnosed as well.
And I think their third child even has some indications.
Potential.
No, so he's doing well.
Okay,
he doesn't have
great.
any symptoms. Yeah, so he's good. So they have the 3 kids. Their 2 oldest ones are the ones that are diagnosed.
From what I read, though, they actually had to run around trying to diagnose this disease, and that they went from one doctor to another,
Sure.
and they weren't getting any help, and they knew that their son had certain symptoms, but nobody was able to figure out what was going on.
So a lot of times, dystonia is misdiagnosed as something else. So it can be misdiagnosed as tremors or
I saw that I was reading the information on your website, which is incredible. It explains the whole disease. It explains the foundation that's been created. But like you mentioned, I read that next to Parkinson's disease and tremors, it's the 3rd most common movement disorder. And when I think of Parkinson's, I generally think of people, in my age bracket, 60 or older, but this hits kids, when they're very young.
A lot of times this is affecting children. And so I think that was the big issue back then. It was this kid who had these symptoms and nobody could figure it out. And so a doctor actually here in Gainesville was the one who diagnosed him and has been a huge supporter and a part of our scientific advisory committee since the beginning.
And what's his name?
Dr. Michael Oken. And Kelly Foote they've been fantastic for the foundation.
Now, as I understand it, Gainesville is like the world center for the diagnosis and treatment of dystonia.
So just like Rick and Michelle have decided to bring awareness for this disorder everywhere, they have taken the ball and run with it as far as research is concerned too, because they've made Gainesville the capital of dystonia research basically in the world.
I wanted to mention something, Heather. I know you're new to this, but every once in a while, say hi to our fans out here.
All right, but we're conversational.
I'm trying.
You can kind of look and stuff. But so anyhow, So it's not just one or two doctors, though. It's really expanded, right?
No, it's a huge team. So in addition to the members of the Fixell Institute here in Gainesville, which holds the Tyler's Hope Center for Excellence, we have researchers all over the country and
Wow.
all over the world now that have been involved in Tyler's Hope.
So this is not some 1 in 10 million kind of disease. It's the third most common
Correct.
Disease that affects muscular disorder.
Yeah, there are over 500,000 people in the United States alone, North America alone, that are affected by this disorder.
Wow, but I don't understand why in 2006 or 7 or whenever the Staub family was dealing with it, it was so difficult to diagnose it if there's that many people afflicted with it.
Well, a lot of times they're misdiagnosed, and that
Right.
really is the center of the issue. But again, it's affecting these children, and they're so used to the movement disorders as affecting adults. So we've kind of brought it to light.
So it's mostly the onset is with children and adolescents.
For DYT1, a lot of time it's onset in children.
And what about later on as far as adults?
There can be late onset diagnosis.
Okay.
But unlike
As well.
Parkinson's, though, what I'm hearing is that it sounds like it's something that hits the younger people, though.
Correct.
More so than say Parkinson's.
Well, I mean,
or
that's the thing
tremors.
about dystonia. Dystonia doesn't discriminate.
Okay.
It affects everybody. So it can
Okay.
affect children all the way up to older adults.
Is it a genetic disorder?
Correct. Yes.
That's what it sounds like
Yes.
from the family. So I know you're not a doctor, you're the executive director, and that's huge by and of itself. And we'll talk more in the second half of our show about how people can get involved and contribute. But maybe just a little overview of what the treatment is like. Is it medicinal? Is it physical therapy? What sort of treatments are available?
Sure. So there's all different kinds of treatments. A lot of times, people that are affected with dystonia get Botox injections to kind of help with the pain of the muscle contractions. And they also get DBS, which is deep brain stimulation. So it's a surgery where they have a battery basically kind of implanted, and it gives off electrical impulses. And it alleviates the symptoms as well.
Okay. Yeah, there's actually, treatment that people for pain disorders sometimes where they have electrical stimulation. So does it work similar to that where there's a electric?
I believe so. And DBS is used for a lot of things. I mean, doctors use it for epilepsy, for anxiety, for all these different things. But as far as dystonia is concerned, it definitely alleviates the symptoms.
So I wanted to ask you something. Tell us, what is the specific mission of Tyler's Hope?
So Tyler's Hope, our goal is 3 things. So we want to advance the research, we want to promote awareness, and we want to develop these effective treatments to kind of help these people who are suffering on a daily basis.
Yeah, just by promoting awareness is a big deal because I can't imagine being a parent and having your child have these disorders and not having anybody diagnose it. I mean, that must be extremely scary for the family.
Oh, for sure. And in addition to that, the people who are diagnosed to feel so alone because there's so few people that have come out in it, and it's not in the mainstream media the way we'd like it to be. So having that sense of community really, really helps these people.
What is the website?
We are at www.tylershope.org.
Okay, and we'll put that up on the screen so
Perfect.
our viewers can see that. One thing I noticed when I was taking a look at it before the show is that you've got a board of directors, you've got advisors, and really a big cross-section of people from the medical community. Also psychological counseling as well. I mean, for the parents, like Jeffrey was mentioning, the stress, the anxiety, the uncertainty must just be overwhelming.
Well, and that's the great thing about the Fixell Institute and the Center for Excellence is they kind of bring all of those different areas together so that
Right.
these people aren't traveling from one hospital to another doctor. They get to get all of those disciplines all in one area or in one space.
So what are the goals you have this year as far as Tyler's Hope?
So our goals this year is we're coming back. We're trying. It's been a challenge.
I'm sure for all nonprofits has been a challenge.
Oh my goodness,
right.
yeah. So the pandemic has really hit us hard. So our goal is to come back and be able to have these in-person events and bring these people together to promote awareness for the foundation and then to get the funding that we need. So our foundation is very different from other foundations in the sense that over 98% of all of our funds that we bring in go to research. So basically everything we bring in goes to research.
Let's talk more about that after the break. I'm getting the little nudge from our producer. It's time to cut to a break. Again, you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law. Take a look at our website at meldonlaw.com or give us a call anytime, toll free, 1-800-373-8000. Our primary practice areas are personal injury cases, which include big truck crashes, motor vehicle car crashes, and pedestrian crashes, trip and fall, premises liability, all sorts of things. We also do DUI defense and criminal defense. We'll be right back after this.
I was riding as a passenger in my friend's vehicle. A fellow ran a stop sign and we T-boned him. Had neck and shoulder and knee injuries and didn't know what to do, and I remember seeing one of Jeffrey's ads. So I gave him a call. He explained everything to me. I'd go see him and everything was done. Everything was taken care of. Don't waste your time with anybody else. Go see Jeffrey.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
Hello and welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Friday, March 5th, 2021. And actually, Jeffrey, this is our 19th episode. It's hard for me to believe we've actually done 18 already.
Well, there's got to be something significant to the number 19. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. And we're very, very glad to have our guest on, Heather Parker, who's talking about Tyler's Hope and dystonia, and it's been an eye-opener for me. You know, I looked at the folks on your executive board, and a lot of them are friends of mine from the community, and I was glad to see that you have a very large, vibrant support within the community. What I want to find out, I know there's some new events coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about the next event?
Sure. So our next event coming up is going to be our Cajun Crawfish Boil, and it is going to be held on April 24th.
I even looked that up. That sounds great.
Have you been working in the details of this Cajun crawfish boil?
Absolutely. So we're so excited to have an in-person event. So we have a couple of live music acts that are going to be there. Cliff Dorsey, TJ Brown, and Jamie Davis will all be performing at the event.
Oh, they're great.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, they're great by themselves. So we bring them all together and forget it. It's gonna be a party. But we're gonna also have some free food. So with your ticket included is an unlimited crawfish boil that we're gonna be giving out, and then drinks as well.
Now, does the crawfish boil, do you put it out on like brown paper tablecloth stuff like that? Okay.
Yeah. So we're trying to do the best we can to still socially distance and keep that all going. But we're gonna that's gonna be the plan.
It looks like this is an all-day event on the 24th. I'm looking at the flyer. It says it's from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. Where can people get tickets? Or there may be people out there that would like to sponsor the event. So
Absolutely.
How can people get involved, either sponsor or buy tickets?
Sure. So people can get tickets on our website at www.tylershope.org. If you're on Facebook, there's a Facebook event. If you look up Tyler's Hope on any major social media, we have a link to buy tickets as well. As soon as you get on our webpage, it's the first thing that you're going to see. So, and then sponsors to sponsor, there's a link to sponsor as well.
Terrific.
Well, that's great. I know my wife's going to be excited because you have the cornhole tournament. And
Oh, it's a blast.
we were practicing the other day at an event we went to, and she was really competitive. I mean, she was in there, and except every time I got up to try to throw the beanbag into the cornhole, she would take the cornhole thing and move it.
Patricia is one of the most competitive people I know. Let's just be honest. She just wants to beat you. That's what it is. Real quickly, I want to also let our viewers and listeners know that we've got coming up on the next segment in just a few minutes, we've got Buddy Martin. Buddy Martin, the legendary author, blogger, sports writer, multimedia superstar. He's been writing about the Florida Gators for decades. He's written books. He's written about Steve Spurrier and many others. We're going to have Buddy Martin on our show via Zoom in just a little bit. So please stay tuned for Buddy Martin. And also want to remind everybody that Meldon Law is a statewide law firm. We have our primary office in Gainesville, where this man, Jeffrey Meldon, set it up back in 1971. But we have a full-time office in South Florida covering the entire South Florida area, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. And we talked earlier about our Marion County office. But really, Jeffrey, we're doing cases statewide.
Yeah, someone called me from Daytona yesterday. And yeah, of course, we're doing Daytona cases. We're doing cases all over. I mean, I have for my whole career. I mean, I've done Panhandle and all the way down on the west coast of Florida. And so that's one thing. If you're licensed to practice law in the state of Florida, that means you can handle a case anywhere in the state of Florida.
Absolutely. And we're staffed 24/7. You can call us anytime at 1-800-373-8000. And even if it's not an injury case or a criminal defense case, this guy knows everybody. It's just the truth. We'll do our best to steer you in the right direction.
So anyhow, we are here with Heather Parker, and I wanted to just talk about some more of the research. Can you tell us how far the doctors are getting towards a cure or treatment for dystonia?
Sure. So we are ridiculously close. I mean, it's really it's a matter of money. It's a matter of money to fund these projects. So basically, the great thing and the fun thing about all the research is they do one project, and that kind of brings them over to the end result of that brings them to something else, which brings them to something else, which brings them to something else. So we're getting so close to a cure. It's just going to be a matter of the funding that we need to get there.
So the goal is to actually have a cure. Right now, what they're doing is treating the symptoms, but getting a cure would be where there would actually be some treatment modality where they would be able to stop the symptoms from happening.
For sure. So there's multiple projects going on, and there's projects that are working on lessening symptoms, and there's projects that are working on finding a cure. So,
and since you brought awareness of dystonia to the world, tell us about how much interest is brought into Gainesville and the medical community here because of our leading role in diagnosing and treating dystonia.
Sure. Tyler's Hope has made Gainesville the epicenter of dystonia research in the world. So one of the most exciting events that Tyler's Hope does that I really love is not necessarily a public event, but we hold the Tyler's Hope Think Tank, the summit, where we bring researchers from all over the world to Gainesville, and they talk about their current research, and they give each other feedback on that research and ask questions, and a lot of times that leads to partnerships moving forward.
Are there more than one? Are there other Tyler's Hope foundations?
No. So we are the only Tyler's Hope in the world. Yep.
Now, it seems to me is that dystonia would be as prevalent in other places around the world as it is in the United States.
Sure. I mean, a lot of it depends on diagnosis and accurate diagnosing and resources to medical professionals. So one of your missions then is to educate people around the world, the medical community. Absolutely.
Yeah, because if there's 500,000 cases in the United States, we're only 5% of the world's population, so there might be 10 million cases around the world.
Exactly. And our goal is to really push to help these people who are suffering, just to give them a better.
I would imagine there are probably some people either listening on one of our audio platforms or maybe watching us on video who might be thinking to themselves, this would be my worst nightmare if this happened to my children. But if they did see these types of symptoms, what does Tyler's Hope suggest they do? Are there certain types of neurologists and treaters? Who do they need to see immediately?
They definitely need to see their primary and get referred to a neurologist, for sure. And through their neurologist, a lot of times they have connections, especially when you're dealing with dystonia and movement disorders. They have connections with other physicians all over to help them. So if they're not going to be the best person to treat them, they can refer them to the person that will.
But a neurologist is typically would be the first specialist as far as a doctor. She might go to your GP.
Yeah,
the GP
absolutely.
might refer someone to the neurologist, and the neurologist, if they're educated about it, might say, we need to check this out.
Right.
So what's the protocol for diagnosis?
A lot of times there's different tests that they run, but in the end, there's a genetic test that can be done to help determine.
Oh, so now we have the ability to run genetic testing.
Correct.
So that's a big breakthrough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huge.
Oh, for sure.
How is Tyler doing now?
Tyler's doing great.
Okay.
Tyler's doing great. He's working. He's an amazing photographer and videographer. He does some fantastic work. He always donates a portrait and helps do our video for the auctions that we do and for the events. And he helps to take pictures during the event to promote.
So he would be, this was February 2005 when he was diagnosed. So he would be about 23 now.
Yep.
Thereabouts. And I guess the message is he's functioning. He's doing great. And
He's a typical 23-year-old. He just.
Oh, I know all about 23-year-olds. I've got more than one. Another story for another
Chris
day.
has 23-year-old triplets.
I do.
Do you really?
I do. Two boys and a girl.
God bless.
How about Samantha? How's Samantha doing?
Oh, Samantha's great. She is just thriving. She goes to the University of Alabama. She made the dean's
kidding.
list. Yep.
Oh, wow.
She's hoping to get into the nursing program there. And she's fantastic.
Okay.
She's excelling in all areas. So
we want to remind everybody that we urge you to take a look at the website, www.tylershope. Did I say that right?
yes.
Okay,
Correct.
Tyler's Hope.
.org.
.org, and you will get information about upcoming events and fundraising. Obviously, you're always looking for fundraising, I'm sure, and any specific information you would like to share with the public about that.
Sure. I hope that everybody joins us on April 24th at the Crawfish Boil. If you are interested in sponsoring, as I said, there was a link on the website. If you're interested in volunteering, that's instead of giving financially, if you can, and you want to donate your time to Tyler's Hope, we would love to have you. You can volunteer for this event or any other events, and we have volunteer spots on a daily basis throughout the foundation.
Well, and I'm looking at the invitation for the crawfish boil, and that's something that I think our listeners would really enjoy. April 24th from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m., all you can eat, plus 3 great bands, and the cornhole tournament, which I'm going to try to win. Okay.
Good luck at that.
Oh, and we have adult beverages. I like that.
See?
Okay.
And where is
We
it again?
classed it up a little bit.
Where is it again?
It's going to be in Fox Run, which is over on kind of the west side of the county.
West side of Alachua County.
241 North area.
Yeah.
Is it in Alachua?
No,
It's
it's
in
technically in Gainesville
I
still.
see. Okay.
So we would urge our viewers and listeners to go to tylershope.org and then check this out, because this is a great way to help a really good cause and have a good time at the same time. So it's April 24th. Let's see. That's only about, 6 weeks away.
About 6 weeks away. Today's the 5th.
Yeah.
So, right.
Maybe 7,
Right.
whatever.
Thereabouts.
But anyhow, listen, not only is Tyler's Hope important, but Gainesville is the #1 community in the whole world for the diagnosis and treatment of dystonia. And I think it's a great opportunity for us in the Alachua County, Marion County community to get involved.
I heard you say before we started, Dystonia is not a country.
Yes.
That's your slogan, right? Okay. Thank you again, Heather. We so appreciate you're doing such wonderful, important work. We are going to be back with the legendary, the iconic Buddy Martin. Jeffrey knows him well. All of us know him well, especially those who followed Gator sports. He'll have a lot to tell us about Gator sports and what he's doing and his thoughts for the future. Again, you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a service of Meldon Law. We will be right back.
Well, I was in a truck accident. Because of the accident, I've resulted in 3 back surgeries. We saw advertisements on TV, and guess who popped up more often than that? It was Jeffrey. The communication that he provided was so appreciative. He shows his compassion as a human. He assisted us in achieving one of our dreams, the acquisition of a home, and we're here today with smiles on our face with the assistance from Jeffrey.
I've done mornings here on Sky Radio for 17 years. Jeffrey Meldon started doing his weekend show here 16 years ago. One of the things that separates Jeffrey is I don't see him out there hollering for people's business. I see him out there investing in the community. He's touched a lot of lives, and a lot of it he'll never know what a difference he made in somebody's life about information that he has shared on the air.
Hello and welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Friday, March 5th, 2021. My name is Chris Qualmann. I am very proud to be a host of this show, but the real host is this man right here, Jeffrey Meldon, president, founder, managing attorney for Meldon Law. And Jeffrey, it's been quite a ride. I mean, this is episode 19, and we've had such an amazing variety of guests. It's really incredible.
Yes, Chris, it's really been fun. Now that we're the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators, we're getting all these tickets. We talked about our giveaways. You just go to meldonlaw.com, our website, and right at the top of the homepage. This week alone, you can get baseball tickets against Florida A&M. You can get volleyball tickets against Arkansas. Next week, whoever is playing, we're giving away tickets.
Yes.
So, our podcast listeners have really been inspiring, and a lot of them are going and getting these tickets, and we're meeting them.
It's really incredible. We've had, for some of these contests, over 1,000 people register for them. So it's thank you, all of you who do that, and keep doing it, because it's very simple. Just go to our webpage, meldonlaw.com. At the very top of the page, there will be a red banner for all the promotions, whether it's an upcoming baseball game, volleyball game, whatever it may be. That's where you start, is at the front page of the website.
It's called the homepage.
The homepage. Okay. I'm eventually getting these things right.
Anyhow, today we have a very special guest, Chris.
We do.
He's a longtime friend of mine, at least recently we've been talking very frequently. Why don't you do a short introduction?
We've had some media icons on among our 18 episodes. We've had Alex Marvez, we've had Pat Dooley, we've had Robbie Andrew, we've had Jeff Cardozo, we've had so many people, Mark Wise. But to me, this is, I'm really thrilled to welcome Buddy Martin to the show. I think anybody who's been following Gator athletics, even casually, knows who Buddy is. Won over 200 awards, both in writing and editing in newspapers and magazines. He's got the Buddy Martin Show. He's the president of Gator Bait Magazine. Probably there is no human that knows more about the Gators inside and out historically than Buddy Martin. So proud to have you on the show, Buddy.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Jeffrey. It's a real honor given the illustrious group of media people you've had on this show. So it's good to be here.
Yeah, we even had the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, on the show, and I know you're good friends with Steve. Tell us a little bit about your background with Steve Spurrier.
Well, you got a couple hours.
Floor is yours.
I was talking to Steve just a couple of days ago on a project we're working on, and he said, Jerry and I are doing a scrapbook, and, back from the day when I was playing. And he knew this and he forgot it. He says, I noticed there were articles in there that you were writing about me then. I said, Steve, from the moment you set your foot on the field as a freshman, I was there as a writer, and I've covered you ever since then. So that means he's old, I'm older. We've probably done, I would have to say, I have had to guess, I'd say probably 750,000 words on Steve Spurrier in my lifetime, spoken and written, if not more. We had our book out, which I keep behind me over here, which is, I'm proud to say, was a New York Times bestseller, Steve's book, I should say. And I've done several books on Gator football in which he's played a major part. So he's been a good friend for a long time. I'm happy that he's here. He makes it a lot of fun. And I'm excited about the new restaurant and hope to be broadcasting. If I can get in that room, it's going to be so crowded with these podcasters, of which Jeffrey is one now. So now I got to compete with Jeffrey. I said, I'm going to go to law school and get my law license and start practicing and get back to bar. And
we want to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, like we talked about, the other day when I was a guest on your show, it's never too late, and we're having too much fun doing what we're doing to hang up our spurs.
That's true. That's very true. And like we said, we don't know if we're retirement.
Yeah, buddy, I wanted to ask you, can you give us some perspectives on what makes Steve Spurrier unique?
Well, because he's unique. I mean, he likes doing it if it's never been done before. All throughout that book, HPC, I'm not sure where it is back here. He talks about doing things for the first time. And he has a sense of who he is, history, what it means. And as I was talking to Shane Matthews on his show, think about Gator football. I mean, forget about the fact that 1996 was a national championship year. We all know about that. But here's a question for you. If Steve Spurrier hadn't stepped up in that Auburn game in 1966, and I was there when it happened, and kicked that field goal, which, by the way, was not on TV, and the New York Times happened to have a guy in the press box, first time all season, and watched him do it, he would not have won the Heisman Trophy. How would that have changed history in Gator football? And all the things that happened after that. So we owe a great debt of gratitude to Coach Spurrier for that, and all the way through as his bringing the national championship, the 6 SEC titles, although he likes to claim 7, but 6 SEC titles.
Yeah, I mean, those who really know it was 7.
Yeah, well, he likes to remind you he won the ACC too one time with Duke. So, but Coach Spurrier is a unique individual. He's a guy that has great, and think about him. I think it's important what he brought to the game for Gator fans, not so much for his rivals. He brought them pain, but he brought joy to Gator football and made it more fun and interesting than any time ever, and probably still is true.
Now, how would you compare him to some of the legends like Bear Bryant and currently Nick Saban and others in that category?
I don't know how to answer that question. Let's say if you want to take, playing career, he played against Bear one time, almost beat him. Had he, in Tuscaloosa for the second straight year in '64. I was at that game. Florida beat him the year before in Tuscaloosa, the first time Florida had anybody ever beaten Bear in Tuscaloosa. And Spurrier was driving down the field, and he lost track of his downs, and he handed the ball off to John Fiber. And fortunately, the clock was running out, and they had to scramble the field goal unit out there, and it would have been a tie, but they didn't get there in time. But Bear Bryant is in a class by himself. I'm going to concede Nick Saban because you got to, because of what he's done. I'll always have a special place in my heart for Bear because he was the culture coach. He was the guy. If you look up the word coach, in the South, you saw Bear Bryant. Now, Nick Saban, here's the interesting thing about Steve Spurrier. Do you know what his record was against the greatest of all time, as they call him, the GOAT, coaching against Nick Saban? Take a guess.
No idea.
I'm going to say 4-4. What
was it?
4-4. It was 4 games, played 4 games.
Okay.
And we used it, and it was at LSU part of that time. Steve was
Well,
in
I know
South
I was
Carolina.
there, one year when we won the national championship, when we win at the SEC championship game. We won that one.
Yeah.
Next year, we lost that one.
Right.
I'm going to say
Okay.
2-2.
Yeah, that was Urban. So this is Steve versus the GOAT. Okay. You say 2-2, Chris.
I say 2-2.
He's 3-1 against Saban.
Oh,
How about that?
Wow.
Not many guys can say
You
that.
mentioned Urban Meyer. I don't mean to.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you about that because I
Right,
know you have
sure.
a relationship professionally with him too.
Mhm.
That he appears with you on your podcast, and
Right.
talk to us about Urban Meyer. I'll just say, first of all, I think he was amazing. And he brought us 2 national championships in a very short period of time. And some people don't have the greatest of feelings about him, but let's talk about Urban.
That's a bit of a mystery, isn't it? I mean, would you think that people who were Gator fans wouldn't go look at the trophy case and say,
Yeah.
this guy won his 2 national championships. He's a pretty good dude, right? For some reason, there's some people who seem to misunderstand or misinterpret or don't like Urban, period. And there's nothing you can do to change that. I've gone through a lot of time, I've written Urban's book, Urban's Way, and done some other things. He's on my podcast this week as well, Urban. I like Urban. I understand Urban. I've had great conversations with Urban, but I've found at cocktail parties, I really don't go to them anymore, but if I was to go to a cocktail party, if you say Urban Meyer, Chris and Jeffrey, it's like saying Republican, Democrat, red or blue. There's no in between. They either love him or they hate him. I'm not quite sure why they hate him, but whatever. I finally gave up trying to become his defense attorney. I should have come to see Jeffrey and get coached on that because I know some things for sure, because I was there in the room when it happened, that people say happened that never happened. All right.
Right.
So I get a little bit ticked off at those people, but I finally decided, you want to hate Urban? Go hate Urban. That's up to you. So, I think he's a special guy, terrific coach, a little bit full of anxiety at times. And I'll just give you this anecdote. When I wrote the book, I talked to 50 people who knew Urban really well. And his best friend told me, when Urban leaves Florida, it probably won't be because he was going to the NFL. It'll be because he collapsed and fell and died or otherwise on the sideline because he spills his guts out there. Well, that was pretty prophetic. He didn't die.
That was pretty
He
close.
didn't collapse. Yeah, and so that's my Urban Meyer story, and so but I enjoyed talking to Urban not just about football but about life.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something, buddy. I graduated from Ohio State in 1966. I'm Spurrier's age. So anyhow, when Urban wound up at Ohio State, I wasn't that upset, but all my friends were going crazy. They were like jilted lovers, They were so upset. It was like he dumped them and if he wouldn't have gone somewhere else, I don't think they would have been quite as mad. What do you think?
I think they've been just as bad, and there's something about these guys. It's a proprietary thing. If you decide to start a new law firm or going to work for somebody else, which you'll never do, but if you did, would people hate you because you changed? Is there some kind of creed written that coaches can't change jobs? Spurrier went to South Carolina. They don't hate him. Some are still mad about it. But the point is you're exactly right, Jeffrey, is that it caused a big furor when that happened. And so, and by the way, they love him in Ohio State.
Yeah,
I can't say that.
Sure. He's from Ashtabula, right?
That's correct. That's where he grew up. Mm-hmm.
We've got to cut to a break in just a second, but we will be right back with Buddy Martin to tell us a lot more. We want to talk about your podcast, Buddy.
Okay.
I know people know about it, but we want more people to know about it. So
we do want more people to know about it. Yeah,
that's right. We'll get into the who, what,
that.
when, and where of your podcast after the break. You are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law. One quick announcement I want to make. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeffrey, but starting April 1st, we have been broadcasting on Friday up to this point, and we still will be through the month of March. That's where we have our live streaming. But we will be going to Tuesdays, and we will be taking I'm getting a nod from our producer. Yes, that's true. So we will be having some changes.
Yeah, we're going to be taking questions live. So that's going to be a really nice change, and we'll be able to get some more interaction from our viewers and listeners. And so that's going to be really cool.
And we, too, are hoping to be podcasting from the Spurrier Gridiron Grill. So we'll be talking a lot more about that. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back with Buddy Martin.
The Meldon Law Firm from the beginning has been built on giving back to the community. I enjoy coming to work as much today as I did in 1971 when I opened my practice. I don't look at this as a job. I look at it as serving other people. While we're alive, what better feeling can you achieve than knowing that you've helped other people and thereby you enrich your own life?
Our motto is, Meldon Law, you matter most. We can never repair a missing arm, or we can never undo being charged with a DUI. What we can do is help you get back on your feet. You're not just another client to us. And it may be a long road, it may be a difficult road, but we won't stop until we find as much justice as we can.
Hello and welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends, a service of Meldon Law, a statewide firm. We have offices not just in Gainesville and Ocala, but also very proud of our office in South Florida, Jeffrey, covering the entire South Florida area from Miami-Dade County through Broward County, all the way through Palm Beaches. Whatever issue you may have in the state of Florida, our primary practice areas are injury law, big truck crashes, motor vehicle crashes, but we also do other things, including DUI defense and criminal defense. Whatever it may be, you'll steer them in the right direction.
Actually, Chris, I've handled cases all over the United States.
That's true.
Even though I'm licensed to practice only in the state of Florida, if there's a big crash and somebody wants us to be involved, usually it's Florida residents. We work with local counsel and help them out no matter where they go, and Floridians are travelers.
Yeah, they do. And
so it can
a great
happen
example.
anywhere.
I know that we talk a lot on the radio show. We've talked a little bit about it on the podcast about your involvement with the CRISP organization and your mastermind attorneys, and frequently you partner with those attorneys. We've got a big case in Louisiana with somebody that you have associated. So
yeah, it's an Ocala resident who got injured in Louisiana, and one of my good friends is a great lawyer there, so we're partnering up. So anyhow, let's get back to Buddy.
Yeah, let's talk about Buddy. Buddy, so tell us about your podcast. We know about it, but tell all our viewers and people on our audio podcasts where they can see you and your daily podcast.
Okay, my show is a little bit different. It's really called a show. And we do podcast it, and we do have another program we do, which is just a podcast. I know that's confusing, but it's a Buddy Martin show, born on radio many years ago and became on Facebook 3 years ago when Dan Mullen was hired. And my son and I, who founded this show, said we have to have a sovereign Gator nation. There are too many fragments out there, people sniping at each other, whatever. Let's build a show just for Gator fans and Gator people. So we started on Gator Bait TV now, the Buddy Martin show. And we have, 6,000 people, regular members. And we do the show at 9 o'clock at night. Why, you say? Because as Willie Sutton said one time, and asked about why he robbed banks, he said, that's where the money is. Why do we do the show? Because that's where the people are, And so we found accidentally, you might call it the accidental show, that we started going on live at night on Facebook when not many people were doing Facebook Live. And we had all these Gator fans. So we happened to get a piece of information that went viral. We found out that the Florida contingent was going up to talk to Chip Kelly. Nobody knew that. We had to have an inside guy, got very lucky, and we posted it. And it went viral, and people went nuts and said, you got to be crazy. It's not happening. But we got on in a car and drove to the Ocala airport and watched them get off the airplane and streamed it. when Scott Strickland got off the plane, and I stopped him. Hey, what's going on? I had about a 30-minute interview, 30-second interview with him, and we posted it, and that thing went crazy. So we went on and said, well, maybe it's our market. We started the show on 9 o'clock at night, Monday through Thursday, and then we added the podcast later with Terry Bradshaw, Urban, and a few others, which we do only in football right now. So I know that's confusing, but just think of it as Facebook, Buddy Martin, 9 o'clock, and you can get it all from there.
Yeah. So if our viewers and listeners want to track down the Buddy Martin show, do they just Google it, or
you can Google it? You can Google it, and or you can go on Facebook and type in Buddy Martin show.
It's on Facebook.
Yes, it's on Facebook Live.
Now, you have access to some incredible guests. Who are some of the folks you've been talking with lately?
Boy, we've been so blessed in that, even though we're sort of Gator-centric and we focus on the Gators, Urban being one, obviously, that he's been blessed us with. Terry Bradshaw is my good friend. We worked together many, many years ago. And I'll tell you a quick, simple story about Bradshaw. He called me one day 5-6 years ago and said, hey, I want to come on your show. And I hadn't talked to him in 8 years. We used to work together at CBS. In fact, if you look over my shoulder, and see that piece of hardware back there, that gold thing, that's an Emmy that I was blessed to have because of Bradshaw on the NFL Today. So Terry and I had been great friends, and then we lost our way. And so he called me one day and said, I want to be on your show. I said, yeah, sure. He said, no, I'm serious. I want to come on your show. I said, okay, Terry, fine. Thank you. I said, so he said, no, I really want to come and pick football games. Okay, Terry, fine. Long story short, he said it about 10 times. He called me back. And finally he said, will you come to my daughter's wedding in Dallas? I said, sure, fine. Okay. I had seen him in 8 years. We go to his daughter's wedding. He comes in the front door with 50 people around him. And my wife and I are standing on the other side of the room. And he looks up and sees us. And he does this, like parting the Red Sea of these people, and comes right over and grabs my wife and hugs her and hugs me. And he turned around and people were saying, who is this guy? Is this like Bob Costas coming in here or something, And he said, Buddy Martin from Ocala, we're going to do a show together. They went, oh, yeah? They're thinking, what, Fox? NBC? CBS? What show? What? And they said, where's it going to be on? And Terry said, I don't know. Buddy, where's it going to be on? I said, Ocala and Gainesville.
Works for us.
Well, you wrote a book
I did, yeah.
right?
I did. I wrote a book called, yes, I did, called Looking Deep. Looking Deep. It's a long time ago.
How long ago?
Well, that was 1990. It's a long time. He was getting out of football.
So this was all about the legendary Pittsburgh Steelers. And how many NFL championships did Terry Bradshaw win?
4 in 6 years. 4 in 6 years. And people talk about great quarterbacks, depending on how you want to rate them. If you want to rate championships, I mean, we've had some, nobody's ever going to touch Tom Brady in that regard. But Bradshaw never lost a Super Bowl. He'll bring that up on you. You say something about Tom Brady. He never lost one, and he won 4 in 6 years. And by the way, he's a tremendous guy. 2 years ago, Jeffrey, the Ocala Quarterback Club, which you know about, started we did an event for the Scott Brantley Trophy, and you might remember that 2 years ago. And Bradshaw said he was coming down, and he did. And we had it at the local rally, and we had 800, 900 people there. Came in, he entertained them, got up on the stage and said, "I'm coming back every year to do this for Scott Brantley." Well, last year we didn't have one because of COVID, But that's the kind of guy he is. And by the way, his fee, if you had to pay it, which I didn't, you'd choke on if you knew how much it was. So he's just he's a generous person, fun-loving piece. What you see on TV is exactly what you get. He is a riot and a great guy.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite TV personalities, not just sports, but anything on TV. I mean, he's really had an incredible career as a sportscaster.
And movies. A lot of movies he's made, too. And he's got
he's been on some TV shows. Buddy, let me ask you this.
He's got one by the way right now.
You've written all these books. You've written a book about Steve Spurrier. You've written a book about Urban Meyer, Terry Bradshaw, many others. Is there a website? Do you have a place where people can go to find out about all your books and get links to buying them?
Did Freddie Weeby put you up to this?
No, that's all me.
Because he's always banging on me about a website. I've got one, but it's not been active. But I'm in the process, with Mr. Weeby's help, of assembling all that stuff together and putting it together. It's been on a variety of websites, but I got to do that. It's one of my to-do things this year. Hopefully, I'll get it going so people can access them. There's 7 books. And I think 5 on Florida football. So anyway, yes, that's a good point. And thank you for bringing it up. And I want to work on that.
So I wanted to share with our listeners, you and I and Chris have all been privileged to have the tour of the upcoming Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And I just wanted some of your thoughts about that because we were blown away.
Oh, man, yeah.
I don't know how to explain it to people. I've seen 2 things in the last year that just absolutely thought, man, this could be the 8th wonder of the world, And one of them is World Equestrian Center, and you know about that, an amazing place that is. And now I went to this tour Freddie took me, and I thought, wow, they've thought of everything here, everything. And it's going to be, I just hope the food is as good as everything else because this is a terrific place.
Sounds like it's
I can't wait. I can't wait to go there.
Yeah, I've been assured that the food is not going to be good. It's going to be great.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. So
because you know why? Because you're taking me to dinner there the first time it's available.
I think it's going to be on Freddie, but we'll see. Anyhow, hey,
good
buddy,
idea.
I want to ask you one question. Okay, you've gotten to be good friends with Spurrier, Urban, and Bradshaw. Okay. Mm-hmm. What do they have in common and how are they different?
Oh, well, that's a great question. A great question. And I'll tell you the first part is the easiest because I was 2 months into a book on idea and interviews and working on this idea. They all are winners. Mm-hmm. They know how to win. Now you say, what does that mean? That's the question we put before the court. And I've got hours of interviews talking to those guys about winning. And about how you do it and what it requires and what the methodology is. And there's no one way. There's different ways. They're all winners. And they're different personalities, and in terms of how they're different, Urban is high strung. In fact, his nickname was Captain Emergency among his coaches, his assistant coaches, because he always had an emergency. Steve was always, of course, laid back. He was an easy rider or whatever it may be. Bradshaw's just crazy. He's funny. He's loving. He's crazy. But he's very smart. That's the thing you don't understand. Sure. And I don't have time to go into it here today, but for a guy who was supposed to be dumb, remember, he called his own plays. And the way he ran his huddle is a study in politics and sociology and getting people involved, how he knew. He took, before there was any intel, he would ask the tight end, what's happening here? The guards, that guy doing this. He asked them all, and he got information, and he processed it, and he called the plays. So to me, that's not a dumb guy. He's a smart guy, and collectively, he can make something happen that nobody's ever done to win 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah, I don't know that I didn't know that, but I don't think I don't know if there's anybody that's ever done that since.
No, well, maybe 1 or 2, but he was, there aren't any more. It hadn't been for quite some time. The art of calling a play. And that's where Coach Spurrier was a genius. He was great at it, especially as a coach. I think
Tom Brady might call his occasionally.
Well, he hasn't, but see, he programs it in advance for the coaches. So he's got his plays all set up. Sure. But he may help make the game plan. So there, and by the way, you can change your play at the line of scrimmage right now. And Emory Jones next year has the ability. Dan Mullen says, if you don't see what you like, call the audible. But it's different when you're calling.
I'm excited about Emory. Yeah, I think that's going to be great.
Yeah, just a quick note on that. So I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah, buddy, this is only part 1. We're going to have part 2 soon.
Okay, all right, that's good.
The surface today.
Good.
But we're going to have to wrap up the show. Chris, what do we got going on?
We just want to remind everybody again that we've got promotions going on for tickets because of our partnership. We are the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We have tickets available for upcoming volleyball games, baseball games. Very simple way to say this. Just go to our website. Go to meldonlaw.com. On the homepage at the very top, there's a red button. Just click that link. It'll get you information on what you need to do to register. And we thank all of you who've been doing it. We've been averaging close to 1,000, even over 1,000 per promotion. And this weekend, of course, we've got all sorts of things. The triple header that starts today against Florida A&M in baseball. We've got volleyball tonight and tomorrow against Arkansas. We've got softball today against FSU at 3:30 in the afternoon. So it's a huge weekend for Gator Athletics.
And the exciting thing is when you go to Gator Athletics, you know you're getting a top-notch product. Number one in gymnastics, preseason, number one in baseball. The softball team's a top 5 team. I mean, they're rocking.
They are. Buddy, thank you so much. It was so brief. We're going to have you back. Everybody, you need to watch his show, The Buddy Martin Show, the podcast. Look it up on Facebook. Google his books. This guy knows more about Gator athletics than anybody. So check him out.
Thank you. Enjoyed it very much.
Okay, thanks a lot, buddy, from number 29.
There you go. You're it. You and Doring, right?
Appreciate it a lot. So I think that wraps it up for this week. Today is Friday the 5th. We'll be back next Friday the 12th. And I was corrected during the break. April 6th will be our first date on a Tuesday, broadcasting from hopefully Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, whatever the case may be. We will be taking questions live on Facebook that day. It'll be exciting.
Yeah, and we're going to have more updates on what's going on with Spurrier's great new restaurant and museum. So anyhow, it's a wrap, I think, and we're ready to go.
What do we say at the end of our radio show?
Go!